Did you know some of the most influential bands in rock history never quite reached the same fame as their peers? While the Beatles and Led Zeppelin dominated the charts, bands like the Kinks and Big Star changed rock forever behind the scenes. Today, we're diving into the stories of rock's forgotten legends. In the 1960s and 70s, rock music was exploding across the globe. Bands like the Beatles and the Rolling Stones were headlining stadiums, but beneath the surface, there were artists whose innovative sounds were laying the foundation for future generations. Let's dive into some of the most overlooked artists, the Kinks, pioneers of power chords. Let's start with the Kinks, a band that's often overshadowed by the Beatles and the Who, but who arguably pioneered the sound that defined British rock. Their 1964 hit, You Really Got Me, is considered one of the first songs to use power chords, a move that laid the groundwork for hard rock and punk. What most people don't know is how the band's aggressive sound was born out of frustration. Guitarist Dave Davies slashed his amplifier speaker with a razor blade to create that distorted, gritty tone. Without the Kinks' bold experimentation, the entire landscape of rock music might have sounded very different. T.Rex, glam rock's shining star. Now let's talk about T.Rex. While David Bowie is often credited with the rise of glam rock, T.Rex's Mark Bolan was there first, blending electric guitars with pop and a flamboyant style that would define the genre. T.Rex's 1971 hit, Get It On, catapulted glam rock into the mainstream. But despite the success of songs like Children of the Revolution and 20th Century Boy, T.Rex's fame dimmed. What many people don't realize is that Mark Bolan was a key influence on artists like Bowie, who took glam to even greater heights. Bolan's untimely death in 1977 cemented his status as a cult icon, rather than a mainstream giant. But his influence on artists like the Smiths and Oasis proves his legacy is far from forgotten. The Stooges, inventors of punk rock. Next, we can't talk about forgotten legends without mentioning the Stooges. Fronted by the wild and unpredictable Iggy Pop, the Stooges' raw, chaotic sound set the stage for the punk revolution. Yet, in the 1960s and early 70s, their albums were commercial failures. Despite their lack of initial success, the Stooges' music became the blueprint for punk rock. The raw energy of their live performances and tracks like I Wanna Be Your Dog inspired the next generation of punk icons, from the Sex Pistols to the Ramones. Though they were almost forgotten by mainstream audiences at the time, the Stooges' failure ended up igniting an entire movement that would redefine rock. Big Star, the greatest band you've never heard of. And now let's talk about perhaps the most underrated band of all, Big Star. This band from Memphis created 3 albums in the 1970s that many critics consider among the best rock records of all time. Yet, despite critical acclaim, they barely sold any records. Why? Big Star was a victim of bad luck and worse distribution. Their label, Stax Records, struggled to promote their albums, and Big Star faded into obscurity. So there you have it. The Kinks, T.Rex, the Stooges, and Big Star. 4 bands that helped shape the sound of rock, even if they didn't always get the spotlight. Their influence is undeniable, even if their fame wasn't. What do you think? Do you have a favorite forgotten legend of rock? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this dive into rock history, be sure to like and subscribe for more stories behind the music. Thanks for watching, and keep rocking to the legends you may not have known shape the world of music.